Okay, so this is what I've done with a couple of the slices of the Bowenite, and have gone through, tried to make a full tumbler load. So that was the goal, was to fill up this bucket. It's a 5-pound bucket of Bowenite. And I wanted to try and create a bunch of shapes that would hopefully polish up and be usable as pendants and jewelry. And so spent a lot of time. It probably doesn't look like that much, but it actually was to pick out the good sections in between the breaks and try to make some shapes out of each. Try and find some forms in each particular slab section that could be used as jewelry when they come out of the tumbler. So that's the idea. This is the before shots of the whole thing, and yeah, that was a couple of hours of work for sure. So going to load it up, put the first stage of grit in there, and we'll get it tumbling, and I will show you this throughout the steps and then the final product. So here we go. There's the before. Okay, let's go ahead and dump these out. It's the end of stage 1, and so we need to rinse the barrel completely so we don't have any contaminant from a rougher grit going into our finer grit stages, and we need to go ahead and rinse the stones, of course. Never put any of this directly down your drain because it's such a heavy grit that it would sit in the bottom of all of your traps and clog up your drains. So I use a screen on top of a bucket if I'm going to do it inside, because I don't feel like doing it outside or something. And I use minimal water, and you can let it settle out and then pour off the clear off the top, and only have the grit on the bottom to dispose of. So yeah, I think those are to the degree of shaping with the roughest stage that we want to do. And now it'll be more about polishing these shapes down to a fine shine with the rest of the stages. So we're up to the top of the bucket. So I usually let that settle out, and then I'll come back and pour off the clear. But yeah, we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and rinse these just a little bit more, and then wash the tumbler and put them back in with the next stage. Add a little water to that first, and it'll help them not slam together as hard when you have to drop them all in there. You're always looking to fill your barrel no more than 2/3 of the way. These are 5-pound barrels that I'm using, is what they're called. So there we are, all the way full. Now we'll fill it to just where only a few of them are sticking out of the top. That's actually too much. Right about there. And if you had some medium to introduce in here, this would be the point. So I'm adding in some little plastic cut pieces that I've made here. You can make your own. Use beads, buy them, they're really cheap offline. But it's about the amount that I'm going to use for that. 1 coat hanger full. And that's going to help space it up, not clank them against each other so much as we move into the polishing and out of the rough shaping. So it'll just help. For that, we're going to add, there we go. Boom. Let's clean this lid really good. I'm going to go a little bit light on this rougher stage and a little bit less time because this material is so soft that we don't want to grind it away too much before we move on to the fine shinings. Once you're down to the shaping that you want, you can back off the more aggressive grits as far as time duration that you're leaving it and amount that you're putting in. The difference is literally, I just left out like a half a teaspoon or something. Make sure your edge is nice and clean so you don't have a weak seal. That's what will cause leaking both here and in here. We'll check back in about 4 days. Okay, this is a tumbler full of Bowenite that I have been tumbling for the last month, and I've already pulled the final stage of grit out of here, and then I put it back in with some rags and some soap, and I do a little bit of burnishing to clean them all off. Let's see what we got. So the white things are the medium, then these are the pieces of terra cloth, and the dark stuff that you're seeing is our Bowenite, a type of serpentine, like nephrite jade is. Very similar in color and beauty also. And you already know all that because you've been watching the first part of the video. Okay. Some of the little hooks broke, and all of the hooks broke. Okay, maybe we can't do that complicated of a shape. That was really pushing it as far as you could push it. One made it. Oh, look at that. Okay. So these look like shiny dark stones. You can see the shape and the polish, but they need to be put with a light behind them. That's about the luster they come out to. Some of them I see fractures in, so we'll have to go through there and check them all. But otherwise, these are going to be some pretty strong. I know that freaks you out, but I wouldn't want to give that away or anything, so. And at this point, the fractures will be pretty obvious or not. This is so exciting. I can't wait to put some light behind this and show you guys. Okay, so here are the results of our massive tumbling. And the idea was that usually when I make a piece, a little pendant, it takes me a huge amount of time, and then the price on that when I put them into my shop reflects that time. I mean, it actually doesn't reflect that time. And then everybody seems so happy to have one of the pendants. You know, I've quickly sold out each time because I only end up making 3 or 4 of each run. So I wanted to experiment with doing a bunch of shapes that could be drilled and then, you know, worn as a beautiful little pendant, but of course then somehow automate it more. So that's where the tumbler came in. That's where, you know, I was like, even if some of them break, which, you know, some of them did, and some of them have fractures, are more complicated forms that I tried to cut out and mass, you know, experiment with. We can call this a mass run, you know. They wore out. They didn't work. And other things kind of unbalanced themselves a little bit that were more balanced. But besides that, there are a lot of them that will work just fine for being little necklace pieces. And then we can take each one of these to the buffer and get slightly higher gloss on there. Again, these are just the green stones when you always hear me say on one of our rockhounding trips, it's a piece of Bowenite, and I'm all excited. It's because, you know, it's basically jade grade serpentine. So we're going to put some backlight on these. No, because this just isn't enough. This is downward light. But yeah, a lot of good shapes came out. A lot of them that I think will look really beautiful as jewelry pieces. That was the goal. So some of them were random, just as filler, and then the circles I really like. I think that in the future we might do an entire load of just these, and then we can drill them. And they're letting through some of the best colors so far, for sure. So I'm going to use this little light here. It's going to be our little thing, and we'll go ahead and cut this down. And yeah, let's get right into some of these. Yeah, look at that. So, boom. Nice, beautiful, beautiful color to that. Each one is different. The inclusions are different, the patterns are different, and the shades of green are different. I'm pretty stoked about how those are turning out. Here's the next. Oh yeah. Little hole at the top drilled in, sit on a simple thing, and they'll just kind of appear black and shiny until they're backlit, and then they reveal their secrets. Let's just go ahead and do all these green. Boom. It would almost be more beautiful if our sun looked like that, huh? Bowenite. So, when I'm picking up all these little bucket loads of pebbles and being all excited about it, now you know why. A lot of you already knew, but I'm always worried when I haven't done a video really with cutting and showing it off in a while, that new viewers and new subscribers will not understand why I'm so in love with these kind of rough green stones that we're picking up. I don't know, it has a skeleton face in there, huh? Until we take a good look at it, because this is one of those stones that I overlooked for years and years and years because it just doesn't look anything like its finished product. There's some of these that are a little bit thicker, This isn't the best light, but what it is it's not an LED light, so it's not strobing on us. And you can see, oh, these are going to be harder because round light, square hole. But yeah, some of these we'll have to decide if we're gonna drill it at the top or the bottom. But look at that. I think it's just gorgeous. I'm personally just in love with the stuff. For sure. Those longer crazy pieces. Oh. Don't want to keep blinding you. But you can see what's going on with it, I think there. That was the idea of those, and I realized they're a little too big for your average pendant. Oh yeah, but see then these, nice, right? I'm thinking we got a lot of that right, as far as shapes. So we could do a whole bunch of these, do whole loads of these, and then I can drop my price down and get a bunch more of this material out to a bunch more people who want it. You don't have to wait for me to do all this crazy work on it, because it takes a while if you're not doing it by the tumbler, you know. And we can just keep going through these. There's just so many different colors and shapes. That one's too thick almost. You can barely see through it with this light. A bunch of long skinnies, because I thought that could look kind of cool. I think that could be kind of beautiful. So could a couple of these other long ones. This one, it got a little off center in the tumbling, but see if I can block that and just get it just right. Yeah. Oh man, dealing with the focus, dealing with the light. But I think that then you can see what we got going on. Kind of beautiful, right? Boom. All these different shapes. So yeah, we will have to do some drilling and then some photos, and then I can get a lot of these up into the shop. Ooh, look at that one. Oh yeah. Just lighten up. So just like any material, some is more clear than others, and the patterns are all different. These are all different thicknesses too. Loving all of the shades. I hope that you guys enjoy these videos where we're all these translucent stones. I wouldn't want to bore you, but I feel like it's an important part of our hounding quest and our detail hunting on this channel is to take a good look at what we're finding and what it can be. And then also it might inspire you to go gather up some of these crazy green stones while you're out there too. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and put on some music and just keep looking at these for another couple of minutes, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. Okay, so couldn't go through everyone, but there are quite a few different shades of green there. I've fallen in love with this stone over the last few years, and I'm lucky to live in a watershed that's just full of it. So I will probably be drilling those, might even make a video and putting them on their necklaces and giving them one more final buff up, and then try and get them out to everybody. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this tumbling. This was a success. That's what we learned. We learned that we can do a bunch of rough shapes and put them in here and do kind of a mass production project, and it turns out okay. So yeah, we have all kinds of new stock to play with, to maybe wrap, to who knows. So I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, let's go ahead and end it here. And I hope that I see you at our next adventure, our next location, wherever we end up getting to, looking at, doing, whatever. And until then, you know the deal. Please take care of yourselves, and if you get the chance, take care of somebody else.